Hello everyone, welcome back to another meetup from Angular APAC, which is hosted inside AngularNation.net. So you hasn't had Angular Nation account, go and create one, and then you can join the meetup with us from the next 2 weeks onward. So today talk is gonna be Johan is gonna share with us about the N ngx-foldable library. Is it? So it's like more about the new kid on the block that I haven't really experienced it myself, which is the foldable and dual screen device. It is becoming increasingly more common over time. So today we have a lot of insight from Johan. And about the speaker today, he's the open source enthusiast and has around 10 years of experience in the various field of IT like IoT and architecture consulting and stuff. So today we are happy to have you here, Johan. And with that, I'll hand it over to you and we start the talk about foldable device.
Thanks for the introduction. So let me share my screen, or at least try to make it work. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So this talk will be all about dual screen device and foldable. As you heard, so who I am, I just got introduced, so I will skip that slide for now. Let's skip to the interesting part, which is dual screen devices. So let's start with this one. Who already had a game like this one? Who knows what this device is? Yay! I'm not the only old one here. So basically, this one came in even before the web was a thing. It came in 1982, so that means it's even older than me. But I think it can some sort of be called like the grandmother of all dual screen portable device. Let's move on to something a bit more recent. So another one from Nintendo. Who has that one? I still have one like in my room somewhere. This one is a bit more interesting because besides being a bit more recent, if you already tried one, you can see already that it has a stylus. It has a touch screen, meaning you can interact with it the same way you can interact with smartphones right now. And it's a bit interesting because it came in even before we had like the iPhone or Android modern smartphone that we have today. So what I find interesting in this particular device is that a lot of UI and UX paradigm that we are now trying to like reinvent today with our modern foldable and dual screen device actually were experimented many years ago like on this gaming device. Another one, a bit more recent, it's still from Nintendo 3DS. And I put this one because it came in 2010. And the part that is interesting is that it includes a web browser, meaning on this particular consumer dual screen device, you could access the web thanks to its integrated web browser. If you think back about at the time that it came in, 2010 was also the time that we started to talk about responsive design. So mobile devices were quite a new things, and the mobile web was just starting to become a thing. People, and especially developers, were starting to get interesting into. And so this one's like the first dual screen device that could actually access the web. And now, back to now, this is a Surface Duo, the device that I will show you just after that, because I finally could have had one like 2 days ago, so I'm still not quite used to it, but I will show you a few demos on it. And what's interesting is that besides the form factor that you can see that it's quite similar to what we had with the previous device I showed, is that it's a smartphone that you can use like your everyday device. And at the same time, it came in. There's also other form factors that came with dual screens. We had like the LG Wing. This one was quite interesting because the two screens don't have the same orientations. We are also seeing a lot of new foldable device that has like one flexible screen, like the Galaxy Fold you see at the top, or the one on the right. And at the same time, we also have, like I think it was last year, Asus just released a portable laptop with dual screens. So we have like all these new devices that we can use for making exciting new things. And that's why I try to experiment, especially from a web development point of view, because I'm at core a web developer. I like playing with the web platforms, and that will be the focus of my talk today. So,
hey, Yohan.
Yes?
You showed us the one that you have on your desk, but it was before we started the recording. Can you show it again? Because it's cool.
Yeah, I plan to do a demo on it later, but I can...
Okay, never mind then.
I can switch to my camera right now and show it how it does. This camera is not that great, but at least you can see how it works. So basically, folded, it looks like this, and you have these two screens. Then you can like use it in any posture you want, like a giant big screen or in laptop mode. Yeah, I will talk a bit about that later, but that's basically Surface Duo. So this is one of the device that can support the new web APIs I will talk about right now. So before I dive in APIs, just one thing is that everything I will show you today is highly experimental. That means that it's not recommended to use that in any production web application, mostly because these APIs are drafts for now, and they're expected to change. They already have changed a lot in the last month. So what I will be saying today may be a bit wrong in a few months. So first, one of the new APIs that you can use to build web application for these new devices are providing new CSS primitives. And this first one I will be showing you, you can see on this slides, allows you to detect whether the device you're running your application into, if it has a foldable part on the screen. If your device is in landscape orientation, it might have like a vertical foldable parts. And in the opposite, if it's in a portrait orientation, you can detect whether it has an horizontal foldable part or not. Every time in these slides, I put you two links. The first one is the link to the draft specification if you're interested to read into it. And the second one is a more recent document that were just released. I think it was on our docs platform. And the second one is more up to date. Obviously, it doesn't give as much details, but if you're just interested into developing new application and to learn about these primitives, it's a great place to start because it's more up to date. And also it's written from a developer point of view. So you don't get all this draft and specification like low-level stuff you may not be interested into. Another primitive that you need to be able to work with that foldable area that may or may not hide content depending of the device is that you have this on the variables that you can access to basically know the height, width, and position of the foldable area on your browser to adapt your app. And especially, for example, I showed you just before the Surface Duo. I can show you again. At the middle, when I talk about the foldable area, is that part here in the middle where basically you don't have any screen. So that means that if you have an application that is spanning across the two screens to make one big screen, you don't want to put any UI elements or text or anything basically in that foldable area because you wouldn't be able to see it. So that's why you have like this variable. They are defined by the browser, so you can access it like just like when you're defining custom properties and you use that with var. This time it's env and it's defined by the browser, so we can know where exactly is the foldable area, so we can like avoid this unsafe area if it's like a Surface, if your application is running on a device like the Surface Duo. So that is for the CSS part. There's also a JavaScript API that helps you to work with these segments. And I'm talking about segments here and not screen because from that's a distinction I have to make to explain things a bit better. But from a browser point of view, you have like one giant browser window, and from the browser, it's a single screen. It's spanning across two physical screens, but from the browser point of view, it's one big screen with different window segments where you can like use to move your content into and have display two different things at two different places. So basically, using this JavaScript API, you can know if your device is a foldable, if it returns you more than one screen segment, and then you can get information on these particular screen segments, the size, and also their position. Because if we're talking about screen segments, maybe I can show you like the previous slides. Here we have two screen segments, one on the left and one on the right. They are basically the same, except that the one on the right has a different origin than the first. But if you're looking at the portrait orientation, they can have different size and different starting position, even for the first one, because of the browser UI that you can see in this example at the top. So it's really important to know where are your screen segments located if you want to try to build a UI that's really suited for this kind of devices, because especially it can depend of the device orientation and posture. And then there's another API that you can use that's called device posture. This one is currently in draft and was updated this month, actually a few weeks ago on the W3 website. So using this API, you can now detect if your device has a single physical screen, whether it's foldable or not, or if it has two physical screens. And most interestingly, you can detect what's the posture of your device, meaning it's just laying flat. It's like in a laptop when I folded like my device in half just before, whether it's in a turned posture, a tablet one, or a book. And you can use that to adapt how your UI look like depending of the posture. And just like responsive design is not just like a fixed breakpoint, but you have like range that's based on basically on the hinge angle. When you like fold your device at different angles, it will change from one posture to the other. So this one is currently in draft, and I tried to use that in a browser, but it's not currently implemented in any browser. You can only test that using a simulator using polyfields. But for the other two APIs, you can actually play it on a real device. So that's where the fun lies. Now let me show you just some quick demos on what you can try to build with these new APIs. So I'll move on to my Surface. Okay, I launch my Edge browser. Sorry if it's a bit blurry because my camera is not that great. Not sure if it's focusing well. So here I launch the Edge browser on the left screen. And right now, I'm not sure if it's visible, but I have a message that's telling you that this application is running on a single screen setup because it's only on the left part. But if I just try to span the browser on my two screens, now this same website has detected, thanks to the screen segments API, that I'm running on two screens. It also has detected that my device is in landscape mode, and I have two different contents on the two different screen segments. Also, if I like change the orientation of the device, you saw that the layout has changed. The orientation also here has been detected as a portrait mode, and this part that was previously on the first screen, meaning on the left, when my device was in landscape, has moved to the bottom, so I can also change the layout depending on the orientation and swap where I choose to place content based on that. And then I talked before about different posture. That means what was called like book mode is when you're like using your device like that. I think if we're speaking about laptop mode is when you're like having your device half folded, laid on a table, and usually on a UI point of view, you have like interaction on the bottom, just like a Nintendo DS. You can have a keyboard, something to type on, and then you use the upper screen as a regular screen. And you can also use like more fun orientation, like the tent one, for example, to share content with another people that's on the other side, or just because you want to have your device laying on the table and want, for example, watching at a Netflix movie. And the last one is like the tablet mode. It's called that. Basically, you have your device completely folded and you're using one screen at a time. So it just behave like a regular single screen device. So let me just go back to this. So this one was just a single demo of the ngx library to show you what you can do when you detect the different screen configuration. I'll show you another one. Let me just move on to the photo gallery demo. Okay, so on this web application, I have like on the left a photo gallery. If I choose to click on a photo, I can see like the zoomed in version on the other screen. If I have this one on a single screen setup, the zoomed in version comes in as an overlay, and you can see that basically the UI is just reflow if it moves on to a single screen or two screen setup. I can also like change the orientation, and it should also adapt. Now the zoomed in version is on the top, and I can scroll down on the gallery on the bottom. So that's a demo. We'll see a bit of code later. And I have also this another one, which is basically a battleship game. Where I don't know if you played Battleship as a kid. I played that a lot, but basically you have like your own boat, and this is where you try to guess where the enemy boats are. I'm playing against an AI, and the AI will try like to sink my boat. I'm trying just to find where they are. And basically using two screens, you can have this one screen for my my own view and the other screens for the enemy views. So that's just like a few ideas of what you can build on a real device. Just as a word of warning, this kind of demos doesn't work like on a device. If you just buy it and go to the store and go to the website, you won't see like the dual screen setup, because you have to go through the flags and enable experimental web feature even of the device itself. Otherwise, you won't be able to access these new APIs. And it's also, I think, for some reason, it's also only working on Edge from the Android device. But I'll just show you later that on the desktop you can also test these APIs in Chrome. So that's it for the short demo. Now, if you want to develop for a device like that and you don't have one like me just before 2 days ago, what do you need? So first, you need to have like a recent Chrome or Edge browser. Go to the flags and enable exactly the same feature I just showed you on my Surface Duo, so you can have access to these APIs. So I'll just switch to my Edge browser. Basically, you go to Chrome or Edge flags. You search for this particular feature, experimental web platform feature, and you switch that to enable. I think you also have to restart your browser so that it can work. The second thing, if you try, for example, to load the same demo I showed on the device, if you want to have like a simulation of what you would see on a real dual screen device, you need to open your DevTools. And then you also need to enable another experimental feature. If you need to go to the settings and experiments tab, and find this emulation supports dual screen mode in there, so you can have a device simulator for a dual screen device. So after that, I already have it enabled, but you need to enable here the device emulator. If you're already working with a mobile device, you surely know of that one. You can switch to one of the foldable or dual screen device that we have here. You can use like Surface Duo or Galaxy Fold simulation, and then you need to enable this one, which will switch to dual screen mode. So you can see that here I'm in a single screen setup. I'm using the segments API to detect in which setup I am. And then when I activate the dual screen mode, the UI will automatically make use of the API to adapt the layout of the app. If I switch, I can also switch the orientation to test that my layout fits well. That's one option. That's the most easy one, probably, to test your application if you want to see how it looks like on a dual screen device. But there's another one that I heavily recommend. It's to install the full-fledged Surface Duo emulator for Android. So it will run like a full emulation of an Android device, the one that I just shown. And you will have some things that you don't have on the Chrome or Edge emulator, is that you will be able to see an actual browser UI. And that changed a lot of things. Actually, the first version of the library I developed it entirely using the web simulator. And then when I sent the link of my demos to someone from the engineering team that has a real device to test it, he told me it's not working at all. Nothing is working. I was like, why? And then I installed this emulator, and I was able to debug it and find that many things that were seeming to be working well on the browser simulator was actually not working on the Android real device emulator, because of things like, for example, what I said, the browser UI that you can see at the top. So I highly recommend you to like install it if you're planning to try and develop an application for this device. Now, let's show you a bit of code to see how you can also have fun and adapt or test, experiment with this API with your own application using Angular. So let's move on here. Just to introduce you, I wrote actually when I was making experiments with dual screen devices like the Surface Duo, I wrote this ngx-foldable library. Because after writing a few demos using the new CSS Primitives and the JavaScript raw API, I found it like very confusing and quite difficult to adapt. And I have a few friends also to testify that because they also tried that. So that's why initially I started working on this library. And the idea of this library is that you can try to adapt existing Angular application. I tried at least to write that library with that goal in mind. The goal was to adapt existing application without having to like add new CSS that may or may not need to be removed in a few months if the draft change a bit, and with the least change as possible on the existing code. So it provides a new foldable module that you can import in your application. And what you'll have to try to adapt your components to play well on multi-screen setups is these three directives. I don't know if some of you may be familiar with the Angular Flex Layout library, because it was heavily inspired by how this Flex Layout library works for responsive designs, because I think that working with dual screen devices is also a form of responsive design thing. So I try to take cues from how that library was designed and learn from that. So you have basically a FD split layout directive that you can use on a container components with that can be working on different mode using flex, read, or absolute positioning. And this one will only be activated if a dual screen setup is detected. And you can use that one to determine which one of your components should go on one window segment or the other. And that's where you can use the FD window directive to specify which parts of which container basically you want to be assigned to the first window segment if you're in a multi-screen device. And you have the same thing for the second window segment. You can just select 1 or 0 or 1 for the first or second window segment. And it will only inject CSS in your application if it's in a dual screen dual screen or foldable device. Basically, it won't change anything to your application, and it will not put any CSS at all in your application if you're in a single screen device. Just like you're doing a mobile first development. This one is like a single screen first development, and you're only injecting code when you detect dual screen setup. And the third directive I made with this library just work basically like an ngx, but it's a bit more focused on detecting whether you're in a single screen or multi-screen setup. For example, this specific text will only be visible on a single screen device, meaning there's no spanning mode detected. There's no foldable part in there. And you can have like the opposite. You can just show something only if your device is on a multi-screen setup, whether it's horizontal or vertical. And you can also make the distinction to display or hide things, whether it's in a horizontal folding mode, meaning that your device is in portrait mode, or if it's in a vertical folding mode, meaning that your device is in a landscape mode. So basically, with these three directives, you don't have to write CSS for your application, and it will dynamically inject the CSS for you depending of the setup of the device your application is running on. And then you also have access to a service that you can inject in your application components. And using the screen context service, you can basically get information as an observable when the screen context change. You can also access it directly if you need, but it's mostly useful to detect whether, for example, the orientation has changed, or whether also the context of your application has changed. For example, I just showed you before in the demonstration that I could switch from using only a single window, meaning one screen, and I switched to dual screen spanning. You can detect with that when the context has changed. For example, if you need like to run some JavaScript to adapt your layout on screen context changes. So I tried to make like a very simple library. So there's the minimal changes to do on your code to adapt your application. So let's move on to show you a real project. So this one is the code. You can see there's a few components in there. I will detail them just in a bit. But this is the code for the gallery application demo I just shown before. The one where you have like a photo gallery and you can zoom in on different photos just by touching one. And this one was initially a demo that was written by Intel in just vanilla and vanilla JavaScript and CSS. And I completely first transformed this application in Angular without using the library. You can see that. I will give you the link later if you want to dive in the code yourself. But basically, there's a CSS branch, which is like the initial version I wrote, which is just the adaptation of the initial demo. And then you have the main branch, which contains the version that was rewritten to use my library, meaning that you don't have any specific CSS for dual screen device. Basically, you write your application with your regular responsive design CSS or anything you want, and then you plug in these directives just to make it suited for dual screen device without changing much to your application. So in this application, I have like a gallery component. That's where I have the list of all images where I can pick one and just select the one I want to show zoomed in. And then I have two components to show the details. Only one is shown at a time. I have the details one, is the one that's zoomed in when I am in a dual screen context. And then I have the full view one. It's showing the zoomed in image when I'm in a single screen context, meaning it's shown on top of the existing gallery components. So this is two different components, and I just want to be able to show one or the other depending of the situation. So to show one or the other, I can use the fd if span directive I've just shown you before. So using the multi-value, meaning I'm a multi-screen context, I can choose to show that one, the details component. And when I'm in a single screen context, I can choose to display that one. Just as a side thing, I could have used the else also notation with making an rigid template out of that. I just chose to write a true fd span with this true value explicitly just before because I found it reads better. But if you're looking like for best performance, just like you can do ng if else syntax, you can use the same syntax with that directives. It will work exactly the same. And then how can I lay out these basically two components, either the details or the full view, so that it can be displayed as I want on one screen or another when I'm in multi-screen context? That's where I just need to add this container div that encapsulates all these components. I use the split layout directive just to tell which kind of CSS I want to create this true window layout. I can use flex, grid, or absolute positioning. In that case, I just use flex. That's the default one I use. And then I also have another option if I want to reverse or not. Let me just switch to the documentation to explain that. When you're in a portrait or landscape mode, if you want to switch the true screen, like I shown when I'm in landscape mode, let me just try to have. I forgot to put the schema in there. Actually, there's a full-fledged documentation if you want to go through it. In the split layout directive, no, it's not there. Okay, I will show you the demo that will be most quickly. Basically, when I'm in this landscape situation, the first screen will display that part, and it will be shown as the first window, meaning the segment which has the ID 0. And when I switch to a portrait orientation, by default, the first window segment should be the one at the top. But if you want to move, like the first screen that I shown before should have been at the top with the default setup. If you want to reverse that when you're switching from landscape to portrait mode, you can do that basically with that reverse setting, so that you can have the gallery that is the first window segment at the bottom instead of at the top, because it's easier when you're holding your device in your hands in that portrait setup. It's easier to interact with the bottom screen than the top screen. So that's why you also have this choice to change the window order if it's needed. And basically, that's it. Once you have added these directives in your code, you can just run your application. And I can show you, I think, the demo somewhere. It was that screen. I will show you the demo running also in the screen emulator. So this is the exact same code I shown you running in the browser simulator. I have the gallery component on the left. If I click on one photo, I can see the details component on the right. If I switch back to a single screen setup, then the details component is hidden, and that's the full view component that's showing the full screen zoomed in version. And if I switch back to a dual screen setup and then switch to a portrait orientation, then the gallery components move down to the bottom. And that's it for this demo. So let me go back to this. So I also put like a collection of links in there. If you want like to go through every draft, if you can also access these slides, go through all the demo I've shown. I've all put that in that link if you want to have a look. And then I think we may have time for some question if you want.
That was very cool. Just when I think I know all the stuff, there's like new stuff coming out. And now I really want one of those. I actually really don't need one of those foldable phones, but it's cool and I like it. And I also really like your background. Not that it's related at all, but I just want to say I just think your background looks really cool.
Thank you,
Manu. And I thought that demo was really cool.
Get one, Bonnie. Get one. It is gonna be the future phone anyway.
Right? Yeah. Thanks, Yohan. Now I gotta go buy a new gadget. It's all your fault.
Yeah, I think these devices are like becoming a trend in the most probably in the future years. Like for now, I talk about like responsive design and mobile first. Maybe like in a few years, we'll be doing like dual screen first for some of these devices because all devices will be foldable and we'll have like we all have like tablets that will be folded in 2 or 3 or 4 in our pockets. Maybe someday.
Do you know who Uri Shaked is, Yohan?
No.
This talk reminds me a lot of Uri Shaked. He's been around. I haven't seen him in a while, but he was doing a lot of IoT talks, and he's using Angular for all kinds of fun gadgets and cool things. And it reminded me a lot, and I really like him a lot. So, yeah, he's cool. Reminded me of Uri.
It will be fun to chat with him, I think, because I also have a lot of IoT stuff in my room. Not built with Angular, but a lot with Node.js and JavaScript.
I'm gonna send you a link to his Twitter because I do think you'd like him a lot. He's a cool guy, and y'all could nerd out endlessly.
If there was only more time in a day, so I could play with my IoT stuff.
That's also a thing, yeah.
You could live vicariously through Yohan.
Yeah, thank you. We need to get a new device, but I'm waiting until those things are a little bit more stable. I'm hearing a lot of feedback that they are not that stable yet, basically.
And Yohan, you just got yours today or yesterday? You just got yours recently?
Yes, just yesterday I got this one. I just had.
How do you think? Like, how does it act when you're like flipping it around? Is it glitchy at all, or is it smooth? How have you been? Like, what is your opinion of it so far as a device?
To be honest, I was quite surprised. I expected way more glitches than what I had. Basically, when I switched the screens and different context, I used that just yesterday in bed to read through books and mangas also because I love to read Japanese stuff. But yeah, it was working quite well for that. And I didn't experience any glitch, at least not when switching the posture and this kind of changes. There was some applications that are not really working correctly because they are not suited for dual screen, especially all these applications that have like buttons in the center. If you try to span them on true screen, the button becomes right in the unsafe area. You can click on it. So that's.
Can you switch your screen share off and go back to your camera so you can like play with it while we're. Sander's thinking about it. Look at him. He's like, oh, I think I want one.
I can show you.
I'm more skeptical that like folding and unfolding it's just gonna break off in my hand and be in 2 pieces. I think I'm more skeptical of that than like the actual software inside. But I'm sure that's just me.
Actually, I had to test like I don't have one, but I was able to test like the Galaxy Fold device, and I wasn't comfortable like folding and unfolding it because you were folding the screen literally, and the noise it was making wasn't like that reassuring in the long term. But I was surprised with that one because it's actually two separate screens with like you have this hinge in the middle. And to be honest, it's like reminding me of my Apple device, and I'm pretty sure that it might be like a bit more robust. We'll see in the time. I just had that one for 2 days, but it seems quite durable to me. At least I'm not folding any like physical screen, so it feels more reassuring to me for that part alone. But we'll see how it goes.
How do the two halves communicate? Is it like a ribbon cable, or is it slip rings embedded in the hinges?
I was wondering that. That's a good question, because if it's any kind of wire, it's gonna like, yeah. How does it communicate?
That's a good question. I'm assuming
Wireless
that
Bluetooth.
Take it apart, Johan.
yeah, I'm assuming
No,
it has like flexible wiring that goes through the hinges, but not sure.
Yeah, don't listen to me. I would really want to take it apart. Simon would take it apart.
But
When I
yeah,
was younger, I had 3 brothers, and well, I still have 3 brothers, but my brothers would always take stuff apart when we were kids. Then they would not put it back. It was a thing.
yeah, I did that with a few phones, but honestly, I would not know where to start with that one because
Yeah.
like, there's
It's been a long
absolutely
time
no
since-
screw. That meaning that everything has to be glued somewhere. So yeah, I'll wait a bit until it's not working anymore to try to like see what's inside.
Oh, Simon. So Simon, does it use a slip ring inside, or you don't know? We don't know. Hold on, I got to look at this link.
I don't know for certain, but I imagine that's how it would work.
Oh yeah, yeah, that does make sense. So Simon put a link to the Wikipedia in the chat for the slip ring. It does kind of look like that's how it would work. Pretty cool, man.
Yeah. That means it may not break, at least not soon, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, it should last a while. So there you go, Sonder. So you're ready for your next gadget now.
I'm going to wait it out a little bit longer because I actually like my phone having one screen.
Yeah. Well, it's cool to be able to look at the brand new tech, and we appreciate that. Johan.
That's sure. Yeah,
that
it's
was
cool.
fun. It was pretty cool talk.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, there's one thing I just got to love when I was playing with that yesterday, is that when you like have one application that's taking a long time to load, or basically if you're opening a web page that takes forever to load, also that's I have at home a very slow so internet connection. That may only be me, but because you have like 2 screens, you can only let one application load on one screen and just play with something else at the side. So at least I have a feeling to be more productive because I have this, but it's not like very productive or interesting stuff. It's like I can load Twitter while my webpage is loading, so yay.
Well, it was a very cool demo, and I don't know if you found your way into our Call for Papers channel yet, but we have a Call for Papers channel where there are other channel hosts and other meetup hosts and things like that, and I really think you should post in there. And Trung will post a link soon to the recording, and then you can just include that if you want to, and let other people know so you can go on some other meetups. I would like to invite you to come and do this demo on Angular Air, Johan, because Justin and Mike are going to love you.
Sure, I would be happy to come if I'm able to travel that side.
No, it's remote. It's just like this. You don't have to travel. So yeah, have your people call my people, and we'll set it up.
Right.
Sure, it will be awesome.
And I think, and Kate, well, I don't know. I definitely think that the Africa channel would, I don't know if we should do too many duplicate talks between the South Asia channel and the APAC channel, because they're in the same slot, the same time slot. So we have a lot of overlap. But the Africa channel is on Tuesday nights, and I think they would really love to see this too. So yeah, I think more people should. It's a really cool demo. This was fun.
Thanks. Yeah, honestly, I wasn't sure if I would be able to show everything because like 5 minutes just starting this, like my camera wasn't working. I had to reboot my MacBook and everything basically went haywire. So I wasn't sure I would be able to show anything, but that went quite well, I would say.
Yes, it did. It went very well. It was flawless, and you were cool as a cucumber and very professional. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
So yeah, I will upload the talk to YouTube. Used to be a Vimeo, but we start to be a bit louder outside, so we do it on YouTube from tomorrow onward. But I need Bonnie to give me the instruction.
Yeah, I can't figure. Well, I was trying to upload it, but with Vimeo, I can go straight from the Google Drive recording because it goes straight from Google Drive to Vimeo. But with YouTube, it wants me to download it and upload it, and we have so many videos. There's got to be a better. YouTube and Google are both owned by the same company, so there's got to be a better way. We're gonna try and figure out a better way, but yeah, we'll get it done. We'll figure it out.
Sure. But I'm okay to do it every 2 weeks. Just download one video.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that and get it up. Yeah, you're right. We can make it happen. Do we have any other? I think we're at the top of the hour. Do we have any other? Trung, tell us, just for anyone who hasn't already heard about this, because it's really exciting. What's going on? The next Angular Singapore, big guest.
Just give me a moment, then I'll show you the photo with everything.
All right.
I'll look into it. Give me 1 second. So let me share the screen very quickly. Entire screen. Just so you know, we has a lot of event coming up. Wait, are you seeing it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So today we had Yohan. Thanks for coming to Angular APAC, and I think you're gonna be appearing on a different channel very soon. We are having Sai Renix coming to Angular Singapore next week on the July the 6th, and it's the Tuesday in Singapore time zone, was like about 7 p.m. So you guys can join and have a chat with Sai. I think it's gonna be very cool. He's funny anyway. So I never really attend to the talk from Sai like in person.
You're going to love him. He's so fun.
It's kind of interesting. And
he is absolutely one of the best teachers that I know. He's so funny. Don't get me started on Shai. I love Shai.
Okay, no worries. You're interested in and you don't want to miss it, just go to let me show you how. You go to channel on the left side. There you can see. You will find the Angular APAC. Okay. I mean, usually there's a button called Join Us. You can just click Join Us and you can see the events coming up, and then you just click to ISVP, and you got the Google Meet, and then you can talk to Shai next week. It's just the how it's look, and we have a lot of event coming up, I think, as well. Next week in the South Asia, there's the
Ankita actually is the host of the South Asia channel. Ankita, are you here? You want to tell us about this? Because the South Asia channel and the APAC channel are in the same time zone, so they're sister channels, and they meet in the same. They just alternate weeks.
Right. So it's just 1 week of APAC and 1 week of South Asia. Connie was the one who would like just go and set it up, alternating, like no matter which channel it is. So she set up this one Aditya. But yeah, he's a great guy. So I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I've seen a couple of articles that he wrote, and I thought they were pretty good. But I didn't really know him. And then Connie, I think I reached out and said, I don't know. Connie and I were talking about it. It was like, yeah, we need to get him on the calendar. Connie's amazing. So we've got him on the calendar, and I'm excited about that. So that's going to be the same time as this one next week.
Right.
Hosted by Ankita and Connie. Connie's hosting. We're just going to make Connie the host of every channel.
Yeah, she's a co-host for everything.
And then we have the Friday social every Friday night.
Oh.
And then I'm very excited about this too. The Angulars, we have Alan Yoast, maybe Yoast and P-Pick and Darwin.
Oh yeah, I love.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be fun. So yeah, lots of
Yes.
fun events coming up.
There's a long list, so I cannot just scroll it all the way because it's just
It
too
will
long.
never end. Not with Connie and I around.
Yeah, that's all from my update. Connie, you want to give any update from the community side? You, I think you are more active than me. So I think she's here.
I don't know what I did. I think we have guests from now to the first week of September. I think I booked some guests in both channels so they have back-to-back talk of the same topic. So I don't know, like if you guys don't want to listen to the same talk twice in a row, maybe you attend one of the channel and then skip the other one and then come back like a week later. Yeah.
I'll consider.
We
Thanks, Connie.
also, I'm working with Oya, Eris, and Fanis. We're planning a free Intro to Angular beginners workshop that we're very excited about. I'm also kicking off Angular Architect training again in a couple weeks, and we are also doing the DOM course right after that, so it's gonna be exciting. Oh, and the mentors. We have mentors and proteges. I think that all the mentors and proteges are pretty much matched up. So if you are in the mentor program and you have not gotten your match yet, please reach out and let us know, because I think they're all pretty much done. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. For a lot of event coming up, basically you need an account on Angular Nation, and that's will get you started with a lot of cool stuff. Basically, so if you don't have an account, just go and create it. I will help you to approve it quickly. Oh, Bonnie. So yeah, thank everyone for joining today. I think let's get back to do some work because I haven't really do the dishes. So I'll see you in the next 2 weeks, and thanks for joining, and bye.
Bye.
Thank you.